Hey, what's up everybody? It's TheHyphenate here, and today we're going to talk about how I did a low budget music video for a paying client. Now this budget was a lot lower than what I normally do, so I had to put some limitations in place to make it worth my time. First and foremost, I did this music video with a 4-hour time block. So today we are filming the music video for Kremen's song.
Asking myself.
Yeah. It's a deep, reflective song that I think many artists can relate to. It's really about kind of having the frustration and asking yourself if you can keep doing this, you want to keep doing this, if you know, even have it in you to keep going. And I think every artist, not just music, relates to this at some point or many points in their life. The music video today, we're actually doing it on a fairly low budget, kind of simple, but we wanted to make it more than just performances. So the main thing was, all right, well, how do we display those emotions of frustration, of like writer's block, or, you know, wanting to give up while having a 4-hour limit, but keeping it simple. Now that 4-hour block is continuous from start to finish. So any traveling between locations, any breaks, etc., it would not stop the clock from the moment I started till 4 hours later. That's the entire shoot. Even though we had this big limitation, my experience has allowed me to know how long it takes to film certain types of scenes. So what I did with the artist beforehand was to actually plan out the shoot. So that way we figured out what we needed to get done and how we would shoot it to make it fit within that 4-hour time frame of filming. As I said earlier, this is a low budget music video. The artist only had in the budget to cover my filming, my directing, and my editing. No food, no location rentals, no equipment rentals. Every location that we went to film had to be guerrilla style, meaning no permits, just show up and film. Now the equipment that I used for the shoot is not very low budget. Some of the equipment that I have is a little bit more on the pricey side, but that's not factored into the budget of the music video because it's stuff that I already owned or that I borrowed. The equipment that I used is the Sony a7 III, Zhiyun crane gimbal, daylight fluorescent light with softbox, Untitled Angle 3XL speaker for audio playback, Magnus tripod, which I only use to balance the camera on the gimbal, Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8 lens, Sony FE 28mm f2 lens, Aurora Aperture Power XND 2000 variable ND filter, and a reflector. I also used the Yongnuo YN360 light and the Bowling P1 light, which I borrowed from a friend. So the first location we started filming was in the recording studio that the artist actually goes to record his music. The audio engineer actually let us film there for 1 hour with no charge. So we're gonna show some shots where he goes into the booth to record, but either messes up or he can't get into his zone, puts the headphones down, boom, frustrated. There's a couch here. What up, Lizette? Lizette will be here helping out as well, doing a lot of behind the scenes filming. So there's a couch, like, okay, well, let's utilize the couch, have him actually writing out some lyrics and maybe getting writer's block, can't figure out what to write, getting frustrated again, maybe slamming the notebook down, ripping out a paper, throwing it in the trash, things like that just to convey frustration. We're gonna use just a fluorescent daylight balanced light with a softbox so it can diffuse the lighting a little bit more. We actually have the window open over here so we get more natural light and it's gonna actually blend in with this light here, so they're not conflicting color temperatures. And then in here, aside from just giving him some light, we actually want to give a little bit of a kicker just to give him some more mood. And we're going to use this Bowling P1 light in a purplish hue, and we're going to actually bounce it through here, bring it through the window, and then we're going to have Lizette over here hold it. So it's not going to be directly straight onto the skin, but it's going to be a little up, just so that way it's a little diffused. All right, so we got the shots in the booth, and we gave it kind of a magenta kind of color on there. We're gonna use the bowling again, more on a red light. We're gonna put this back here because he's gonna go on the couch. Give it a little color there. And I'm gonna get this Yongnuo YN360. We're gonna use this as a kicker light off to the side of him. So we have the Yongnuo right there on a greenish hue, and then we have the red in the back, two colors that complement each other. So right here I'm gonna be at a wide angle, the 28mm. I'm gonna be a little lower, and he's gonna be pretty much just trying to write rhymes and tossing and turning almost his position, showing frustration and almost like fatigue. When you get stuck, stay in that mode for a little longer. Okay. So I could tell you're getting frustrated. Just go ahead and write, just write. Cool, so we just wrapped up the shots of him on the couch. Now, we actually filmed the shots right now that are gonna be used for the beginning, middle, and the end of the video. Also, using the Sony a7 III, shooting in 4K with the f2.0 28mm. With the Sony a7 III, you can actually go into Super 35 mode, which gives you a 1.5 times crop on the lens without actually losing any quality. So what I was able to do was shoot the wide shots of him showing more of his body writing, and then when I wanted close-ups of the hand on the notebook, I went into Super 35 mode. Again, doesn't lose any quality of the video, even in 4K. So then I can have more cinematic shots on the hand for B-roll. So yeah, now we're done with that. Now we're gonna go out and about in LA and go get some performance shots. So even though we had some really great shots of the artist in the booth, none of those shots actually ended up being used in the final video. It felt unnecessary and slightly out of place. The story at the end result was him feeling frustrated, more having writer's block and not being able to write the music. I felt that him going into the booth kind of just took away from that and just added more scenes than needed to be in the video. So the focus of the inside part of the shots was for the beginning of the video when he's trying to create, but he's not able to. He's having self-doubt and it's giving him a writer's block. He's having trouble creating and he gets frustrated, scribbles it out, and he ends up throwing his rhyme book into the trash can, wanting to call it quits, and he walks out. Everything that was filmed inside was with the Sony FE 28mm f2 lens at f2.0. So after wrapping up inside, everything that we were about to film outside was with no permits, guerrilla style. So we were going to public street locations. Luckily, being a small crew with very small equipment and minimal equipment, we didn't really have to worry about cops harassing us. But if it did happen, we had other locations in mind that we could change to if one didn't work out. So to continue the story of this artist having frustrations and doubts and not being able to create, we then wanted him to now be walking through different environments. So the first place we shot him walking was actually down the street from the studio, and it was a street that just had cars on both sides of the street, and behind him would be an incline, so the road went up and there were trees all around, so it would make for a nice visual look with everything being filled in the frame. We actually wouldn't get any sky, but the colors would pop really well and he would be able to stand out from the background. I wanted him to be in a place that looked like it could be busy, but really would just have him all alone. So he's just gonna walk that way, walk towards me, and I'm gonna walk backwards. And this will be him with his frustration. And then I'll do close-ups. Wait for this car to pass you. When you are filming guerrilla style, when you don't have permits or anything like that, and you're just going anywhere, you gotta deal with traffic and people. So sometimes you just gotta wait for your shot. So that car's passing, this other truck behind us is about to pass. Then we're gonna be back to filming. And there's another car coming, so. Sometimes shooting like this, it can take a long time to get one shot, and it's just because you gotta wait for that right moment. But, all right, ready?
There's another car, FYI.
Hold up. Okay, maybe after the next one. All right, we good now? Nope, no we're not. Damn it.
It's a busy street.
I know, it's all good.
The longest part of filming that scene was having to wait for all the cars that kept passing by. They kept interrupting our shots and we had to keep stopping in the middle of filming. We finally got about 5 good takes, 3 wide shots and 2 more close-up shots. Then after that, it was off to a different location, another public street that he could walk down. We wanted something that looked different from the first street. That way, it gives off the impression that he's been walking for a while. Now he's at a different place. He's gone a good distance. He's been on this journey of self-doubt for some time now. So for this location, we pretty much were just driving around till we found something that caught our eye. We eventually ended up finding this brick wall and we decided to go with that. As you guys can see, I'm walking down the middle of this busy street where cars are passing by. I don't recommend that. It's unsafe. Don't try that at home or on your shoot. After filming that, then it was off to the last location. The last location actually had several different scenes with different backgrounds. The first one that we were gonna film was him actually finishing his walking journey. He was gonna get to a place where he sat down and got pensive and started to reflect. Then after that, I wanted to get a shot of him having some clarity, feeling better, getting up, standing up, and leaving. Now that shot was gonna be used towards the end of the edited music video that ties right into the last shot, which is him going back to the studio, picking up his notepad that he threw away in the trash earlier, and now feeling re-inspired and continuing to create. After getting those story-based shots, then it was time to do some performance shots where he was sitting down. Now that we only filmed purposely the second half of the song because I didn't want to have him doing performance shots sitting down at that final location where in the music video, he hadn't reached that location yet. So the plan was for when he arrives in the final video, it would already be about halfway through the song. So then the performance shots at that location would fit perfectly. Now, everything I had filmed outside up to this point was with the Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8 lens at f1.8. But now moving on to the final performance shots, which were still at the same location, just at a different spot, where now we would have the Los Angeles skyline in the background. I didn't want f1.8 because it made everything too blurred in the background. And I wanted a little bit more definition, a little bit more clarity in the skyline buildings. But I still wanted them blurry enough that he would pop out from the background. So then, still using the same 55mm lens, I just changed the aperture to f5.6. This decreased the amount of background blur, but not too much because the background was a significant distance away. Now at this spot where we were filming, the sun was actually behind the artist, which was actually creating a lot of shadows, especially because it was a very bright day. The first shots we did with that backdrop were actually more close up and focused a lot on his face. I didn't want those dark shadows, so I ended up getting my assistant for the day, and she actually held up a 2x3 silver reflector to help balance and give light into those darkened areas. That made a huge difference and made him pop so much more. After we filmed those close-up scenes, then I filmed full wide body shots with the same background. But for that wide shot, I didn't use the reflector because he was gonna be moving a lot more and so was I. And trying to follow him with the reflector was gonna be a little difficult and was probably not gonna look good if you saw the flashing of the fill light moving around. Also, with the more wide shot, there was less focus on the face, so I didn't feel like I really needed the reflector. After we got those shots, it was a wrap and we were completely done filming. And we wrapped up with maybe about 30 minutes, 40 minutes left on our 4-hour time frame. But we got all the shots that we needed to tell the story, so we didn't have to keep filming for the rest of the time. And that's how I filmed a low budget music video, but made it look professional as well as full. It didn't feel empty. There's a story that goes throughout the video and some performance shots that made it dynamic, made it entertaining, but also kept it within a limited time frame in order to fit the budget of the artist. So as I mentioned earlier, I know that the equipment used for this music video is not super low budget. However, it's not very expensive. And if you were to rent some of these pieces of equipment that I use, it's actually not that expensive to rent. But if you are interested in purchasing any of the equipment that I mentioned for this music video, I do have links in the description where you can purchase it from either B&H Photo or from Amazon. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. I hope you learned a little from this video, and I hope that it also inspired you to be able to create professional looking productions on low budgets. Please make sure to drop a like on the video, drop a comment if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.